Alright, so I'm going to talk about car purchases, given we recently had one ourselves. Now, this is not going to be about my car. I am actually doing a bit of a social study with my car, and you guys will hear a bit more about that later on. But right now, what I want to talk about is car purchasing, right? Because, we get a lot of people now that we've got the Benz, and they're, should you have purchased that or whatever. And the crazy thing is that this thing cost us less than the Kia that we're looking at. And Kias are great cars now, and that's not taking anything away from Kia. It's just the methodology behind purchasing cars that we push onto our clients. And one thing that's the biggest problem with cars is depreciation, right? Now, given we're not talking about those random cars that in 20 years go up or whatever, I'm just talking about day-to-day cars. And we never buy new unless there's certain circumstances around leasing, etc. But this is just a generic video. There are some circumstances where what we're saying doesn't fit. But for most people, this video will fit in, right? So when you're purchasing a car, there's some things that questions you often get. Do I lease it? Do I buy it with cash? Do I get a loan? What do I do? Do I use the home loan? Whatever, right? Now, that's a bit more personal, so there's a few more things around that. But you basically, with any purchase we make, we need to make sure that we assess what can we do with that money and what's the best return we can get that money. Now, with interest rates so low, if you can get a loan for, well, let's say, for example, our business loan for this car was 3.19%. If you can get a loan for 3.19% and use that cash to generate 5, 6, 7, 8, 9%, well, then you've got to take that into consideration, right? Buying with cash isn't always the best option. Then we go into second consideration, how much can you afford? Now, general rule of thumb we use with our clients is 50% of your household income, maximum, right? So if you earn 200 grand, you can afford a $100,000 car, because people always, and that's at the top end, obviously the lower the better, but people always see someone in a Bentley or a Ferrari and they go, far out, man, like, that's crazy, like, why would you spend so much money on a car? But that person's probably earning $1 million a year. That car's probably 300 grand. The people that are saying that's a stupid idea are probably buying a Toyota Camry for 50 grand and they only earn 80, So you really got to take into consideration that. So that's a good ratio. It's not always the case, but it's a good ratio to look at. The next one is, do you really need a new car? Yeah. So the big thing that we do here, and we recommend with all purchases, but especially with cars, is what's the best case scenario that'll suit your needs? What do you need the car for, and what's your absolute dream of it, right? Realistically, not it's a Bentley. Like, what's your realistic dream within your price range? Then go all the way down and go, well, what's the cheapest, lowest priced option that would still achieve what it's used for, but it's not going to be ideal, right? And then you just work back and forth and find the balance point where you get everything you need for the lowest price possible, okay? Now, it's not just as simple as it drives you from A to B, okay? That's, anyone who says that with cars, you're like, good on you, right? But that's not everyone. For me, like at the moment I don't, but generally I spend a lot of time in the car. I want it to be nice, I want to be able to enjoy my time in the car. It's got to be comfortable. I've got to have all the accessories that I need. I want to enjoy my time in the car. And then from a branding position, mine not so much, but some businesses, you've got to put out an image, right? You've got to put out an image of class, of whatever, right? And I've got to make sure that I don't go over that. But I do believe I should be, if I'm a financial advisor, I should be doing okay for myself. So I've got to drive a relatively nice car, right? Even though a lot of people don't see that or don't care for it, it's something that I think is important. I can't be driving around in a shitbox. Now, then we go into new versus old. So when we talk about purchasing and new versus second-hand or whatever, the biggest problem is depreciation. When you drive the new car off the lot, it depreciates straight away. So if you don't need a new car for any reason, the best point of value in a car, depending on the car ranges, is about 3 to 5 years old, low kilometers, good service history. Okay, that's where you'll get an absolute steal. You get the absolute value. You'll still get the newer models. The car shouldn't have upgraded that much. It'll still be pretty cool, pretty new. The low Ks mean it still should be new in the engine, etc. Good service history, make sure it's looked after. But that is the perfect price point for most vehicles on absolute value. Now, another thing is, there's big people out there that do the car searches for you. So, you usually get the car, you get someone, one of your mechanic mates come have a look at it. So we used Deborah Rowley from Premium Car Search, which all my clients use, well, most of them use when they look for a car. You send them what you want, what kind of car you're looking for, and they'll go through all their dealership contacts, and they'll go around and they'll give you a selection of what they recommend, and they'll make a recommendation on which one's the best. So you go price range, etc. So really important that you understand and you try and utilize contacts like that, because they can take a lot of legwork out, but they can also make sure that you're getting a really good deal. We got our Mercedes from Mercedes Alexandria. They put us in touch with Tom there, and an absolute banker of a car. And I'll tell you guys later how much we paid and all that stuff in my social study video. But yeah, absolute steal, great service. Felt like we're driving out of there in a new car, and the thing operates like a new car. So some tips there to really help you if you're looking for a new car, or looking to upgrade or get a car. There's some really key factors there that you can take into consideration to make sure you make the best decision possible, and keep a little bit of money in your wallet and make sure you do the right thing from a financial sense. So I hope that helped. We'll be in touch with another one.